Hello YouTube, iFixItAll here, Team iFixItAll. Little garden update. I've got a map of everything that's planted and where. Don't expect you to read that, but I know where every single seed and thing is planted, but we're during the first week of May, and we've got onions planted down pretty much every available bay. Again, with onions, last year YouTube video, if you're growing onions and you want to grow big onions, don't put them deep. Leave them alone, don't hoe them. But most importantly, if any of the little limbs bent over, snip it off. If you don't snip it off, it'll retard the growth of that particular ring, and it'll stunt the growth of that onion's ability to get large. So these onions are getting large enough now to where I'm gonna have to come out here continuously and just audit the heck out of them. Just grab a cup of coffee, come out here, check them, snip them. We got way too many onions. I mean, they're just everywhere. So let's see, I've tore out my my greenhouse. I think I'm safe to call it. Got maters going on, all kinds of things happening here. One of the things I did do was to help with frost situations is I made a reserve pile of leaves. This area doesn't have any leaves in the bed because that's where my greenhouse area was. A nice reserve pile of leaves so that you can throw them on top of any new sprouts if you know a frost is coming, and it'll also help retaining moisture. And then when the plants get pretty large, you can just waste all them leaves in your bays to keep weeds down, and then it'll act as a fertilizer and a compost. But we're first week of May. I got a lot of peas up. Again, got a lot of onions. A lot of this is seed that I planted to see if I'm going to be able to do a garden from seed. I'll let you know if I have to go get plants or not. We're chooching along, doing pretty good. I think I have 2 stalls that are empty. We call these bays. And then in each bay there's a stall, and I've got 2 stalls empty down there. One of the things asparagus is up pretty good. It's pretty darn tall. I mean, if you can see that green thing. All right, so one of the things that I did kind of wrong with seeding is keeping the seed pots over here full time, meaning I would raise my greenhouse lid up and the sun would beat in on the seed containers and things would sprout and move along. But one of the basics about growing from seed is too much sunlight is bad. Anyway, I've got all my seeds over here to where I can manage the sunlight a lot better. These will probably get maybe 4 hours of sunlight. Now, a lot of these I've already plucked out what I'm going to be using from here over to here. I'm wanting to see if stuff comes back because I'm missing a substantial amount of green peppers and a substantial amount of broccoli, and I have no Brussels sprout. So I'm kind of hurting in that territory right now. I have cabbage and I have cauliflower. Now here I've got tomatoes. All that's tomatoes, and they're coming up. I've got tomatoes transferred from my seedlings onto Bay 1 right along the trellis area. And I'm just going to quickly skim through, and you might be able to pick up on some little guys. There's one. There's one. Another. They'll catch up. And then I had some more mature ones that a friend of mine gave me. That's planted along the trellis area. And just toward the forward edge here is cabbages. I got to get leaves on this area to retain some moisture. There's a significant difference between the earth from here where there's leaves and then the earth over here where there were no leaves. So I got to get some leaves in there. Again, first week of May, corn is up, doing good. I got 2 or 3 different kinds of corn. All my corn is up at least a couple, 3 inches. Doing good. Yeah, it's a couple inches there. I got 6 rows of it. It's sort of tightly knit, but it did real well last year. Here's a tip for corn if you don't want to hoe. What I've got here is I dug out trenches very deep. 6 of them in this small area. It's probably like 12 foot by 15 or so. Dig yourself out your trenches really deep. And what I mean by really deep is go down about 9 inches. Pile your dirt up in a mound like I have. Then drop your seed. And then put, dig your trenches. You'll have dirt high over off to the centers, or off to the sides. But then when you drop your corn, just kind of push it in the ground about 1.5 inches and smoosh it in there and walk away and water. Now the plan is when this, maybe I can get some scale here. Maybe not. That's not too good. But that's the difference from up here to way down here is quite a difference. These seeds are in the ground like 1.5 inches. When the plants get up to about here, I'll be bringing that dirt up over them. And I touch them once. What this does is it allows the corn to be deep enough in the ground to not be damaged by wind as easily. Plus they're down deep enough where there's good nutrients. And you don't have to hoe it. Just let it go after that. They're already deep enough. It's all about work smarter. I've got a straggler row of beets through here, but that's not beets, that's a lot of weeds. I'm kind of waiting for the beets to define themselves before I weed. And I've got potatoes up everywhere. They've been in since for about a month and a week. Lots of taters. Got 3 different kinds, 6 rows. Got a new item on the right hand side of the tater patch. I have cattle fencing, and I made a row right close to the cattle fencing of several different kinds of climbing squashes. We're also growing sponges called loofah. It's a gourd. Loofah will be right here. And what you do is you grow it and then you harvest it and you get the insides out, and that becomes a sponge. Loofah sponge. I didn't know you could grow that stuff, so we're going to give it a try. But along that fence is going to be a lot of squash. Got 6 rows of taters. Got some beets. And up here we've got some pumpkins, some yellow squash, or no, some pumpkins, whatever, some sort of squash, another kind of squash, and got watermelons right here. And those are all going to try to maintain those inside that mulchy area. Yes, I'm growing my potatoes in hay. I'm not in the ground. Every year I've grown in hay. They do good. Why I do it is because it allows me to get potatoes out early, like really early, like last week of February. And this year, since I have a substantial amount of mulch, last fall I put on about 6 or 8 inches of mulch on top of the hay. And then this past late February, I trenched out really deep, dropped my seed, covered them up real deep. What will happen is I will have potatoes blooming early, and I'll probably harvest somewhere mid-July. And I'm harvesting right around the time potato bugs show up. I cannot grow potatoes here without getting potato bugs. If I planted in May, they would pop through the ground late May, maybe first week of June, and the tater bugs would be killing them before they could even have a chance to even do anything. I'm harvesting potatoes. You know, I could wait maybe end of July, but by the time the potato bugs show up, I don't really care because I already know I can harvest potatoes. The disadvantage to growing potatoes in a scenario like this, there's no digging or nothing like that. There's no... Get out of there, Elvis. There's a... Quit. Stupid cat. The disadvantage to growing potatoes in a scenario like this is you have to really... when you get close to harvesting, you need to do some sample digs and start studying when are you going to get your taters out of the ground, because if you wait a little too long, you have moles and mice or whatever varmints that get in there, and you'll probably end up having about 10% of your haul being chewed on by something. And there's several ways to handle that. You can cut off the bad parts and then turn the rest into mashed potatoes and freeze them or what have you. That's pretty much... oh, another thing is we're growing our own sugar called stevia. There's a lot of new things we're growing here. A lot. But what worries me is I've got so much in the ground that's seed, and I'm worrying over it so much. Like, are my seeds going to show? When are they going to pop up? They've been in the ground for 3.5 weeks now. I just have problem with patience. Again, that's just a little update on what's going on around here. We shall see you later. Sorry about the delay on any videos. I've been struggling with doing about 4 that I want to do with some political things going on. I don't want to call it political. I just want to call it societal issues going on. All I can say is we're just we're just growing our own food and all that good stuff. And my problems are my problems as far as whether I want to vocalize what I want to vocalize on YouTube or not. I just want to get it off my chest. Besides, I don't want viewers out there subscribing to me that maybe don't want to have anything to do with somebody like me in real life. If they happen to find out I'm just a plain old American who's a veteran, white and male, and that's toxic to a lot of people. This right here is Americana, and it soon will be illegal. Catch my drift? All this. I'm not qualified to grow my own food. I'm going to have to pull a permit to do so and all that good crap. It's coming. It's already being proposed. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.